All right, it looks like it's about 12:01, a little after 12, so we will go ahead and get started. And as people come in, uh, we will welcome them. So just a good afternoon, and a thank you very much for joining us on what perhaps is your lunch hour. It's very much appreciated that you are interested in the Kings Water Alliance. I will be hosting this webinar. My name is Deborah Dunn with the Kings Water Alliance, and we're basically just going to go through the Safe Drinking Water form, which is the residential drinking water well sampling and or bottled water form, the same form for both. That is available on our website. Again, I really appreciate you going through this process and spending a little bit of time with me today. First, a couple of housekeeping items. If you are interested in our interpretation services, there is a little globe icon at the bottom of your screen, and you can select Spanish if you utilize that little globe interpretation button. And Jose Soto is joining us this afternoon for the Spanish translation. So Jose, if you would like to say that as well.
Si quieren escuchar esta presentación en español, pueden seleccionar el icono en la parte de abajo de su pantalla que tiene la forma de un mundo o globo y seleccionar Spanish para oír esta presentación en español.
Thank you very much, Jose. I appreciate that. A couple other technical details as we go through the webinar. Video and audio is off for participants. Questions and answers. Type a question throughout the presentation. Go ahead and chat all questions as you are going through. If it is pertinent to any part of the presentation, I'm going to ask that Rebecca Quist, also with the Kings Water Alliance, cuts in. That way I can answer the question on the spot. So feel free, as we're moving through this presentation, to either raise your hand for any verbal questions or answer it in the Q&A. And if it is pertinent to what is going on in the presentation, we will definitely get that answered as quickly as possible. If you have any technical difficulties as we are moving through this webinar presentation and live demo, please utilize the chat feature, and Rebecca will try to assist you as best she can. So again, thank you for joining us this afternoon. I just want to go over briefly what the agenda for this webinar is. We will be going over briefly the background and who is the Kings Water Alliance, what we're currently doing in the community, how it came together, what the nitrate control program is, current implementation aspects. And we're going to do a brief overview of the well test form and the bottled water form, which again is the same form. We will look at the Kings Water Alliance website. We will look at the English and Spanish options for the form, as well as eligibility and the different options when it comes to the form itself. If you want to do an online form, a PDF, or if you would like a paper version mailed to you. Then we'll get into the live demonstration, and we will discuss various scenarios during the live demonstration, how to complete the form, what information is absolutely required on the form, and how to get help with the form if you need it. And then finally, we will end with questions and answers about the well form, the bottled water application, the Kings Water Alliance, and any additional questions that you may have. So let's begin with a background of who is the Kings Water Alliance. Well, the Kings Water Alliance is a nonprofit public benefit corporation implementing the Central Valley-wide nitrate control program. Nonprofit was formed by local dischargers, including irrigated agriculture, dairy, confined bovine, poultry, food processors, wineries, and wastewater treatment facilities, to name just a few of the dischargers that are involved in this program. The Kings Water Alliance is the governing body for the Kings Management Zone, encompassing parts of Fresno, which is over here, Tulare, which is this over here, and Kings County. The groundwater subbasins that we represent are the Kings, which is located over here. You can kind of see the word. The Tulare Lake and portion of the Cahuilla are major components in our boundary. As you can tell from the the map itself that we have this slightly reddish pinkish area and then this orangey kind of area. And that designates two different priority areas for the groundwater subbasins. The red area is the priority 1 and the orange is the priority 2. And we are currently implementing in the priority 1 areas. The Kings Water Alliance was formed to efficiently implement short-term and long-term drinking water solutions for nitrate impacted residents. We'll go into that a little bit more. In 2019, the State Water Resources Control Board adopted the regulatory framework for a new nitrate control program with 3 goals in mind: provide safe drinking water supplies, short and long-term, to residents impacted by unsafe levels of nitrate, reduce nitrate impacts to water supplies, which are long-term solutions, and restore groundwater quality where reasonable and feasible. And those are more long-term solutions. The notices to comply for the priority 1 areas were sent out in late May of 2020. The KWA submitted deliverables to the state in March 2021, which outlined the management zone boundary, the KWA boundary, and also implementation plans for short-term drinking water solutions, which is called the Early Action Plan. We are currently outreaching to those impacted residents and communities through direct mailings, webinars such as these, emails, flyers, and we're going to be having additional events in the community shortly. Currently, our implementation is focusing on the short-term solutions through our well testing and our bottled water delivery services, which we will go more into detail in a little bit. And I just did want to also let you know that our implementation efforts include fill stations that are readily available to folks right now. You can take your own sport bottle or 5-gallon container, which is the maximum that one of these fill stations can hold, to any of these facilities that can be found throughout the valley. We have one in Kerman, one in Dinuba, one in Hanford, and these are available 24/7, free to use. They are also cleaned on a regular basis from anywhere from 3 to 5 times a week, and they are tested for bacteria every other week. So these are safe and these are available right now if you need clean drinking water. So right now, I'm just going to go into a brief overview of the Safe Drinking Water Form, and we will go to the live demonstration from there. So first, I want to let you know that it is available online right now at the kingswateralliance.org website, or you can call the phone number that is listed there or email us at info@kingswateralliance.org if you would like a paper form mailed to you. When we mail the paper form to you, we will also include a postage paid envelope that you can return the form to us once it is completed. The next step of the process is determining your eligibility for the free water test or the bottled water program. The first part of the process is you have to live in a priority 1 area in the Kings Water Alliance, and I will show you a live map that will help you determine if you are in that priority 1 area. And then the next phase is determining your drinking water well has unsafe levels of nitrates. And one of the ways that we do that is we come out and we test it and we let you know those results as soon as we can, or you provide us a test that has been taken of your drinking water well within the last 5 years. And we'll go more into that as I'm doing the live demonstration. So right now I'm going to go ahead and transfer to the live demonstration, and just a reminder that this is available at this link here at the kingswateralliance.org/well-test, and I am going to go ahead and show you how to get there as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull my web browser over and type in the URL for the Kings Water Alliance. And I apologize for any typos as I'm going through this. I will blame my not very petite fingers for that. This is the main website for the Kings Water Alliance. It has additional information on the nitrate control program, the Kings Water Alliance organization itself, some things about CV salts as well. So once you are at this site, you would go to the Safe Drinking Water tab and click on the Safe If you scroll a little bit further on the page, it is going to list your eligibility requirements, which we already discussed previously. There is the interactive map, which I will show you to determine if you are in a priority 1 or a priority 2 area within the boundary of the Kings Water Alliance. So I'm just go ahead and click on that for right now. And I am going to go ahead and utilize the Kings River Conservation District office, which is where I am right now. And again, I apologize for any typos as I'm going through this. And I'm going to just go ahead and click on that. And it has brought me to this pinkish red area, which we talked about earlier, that identifies as a priority 1 area. But I just want to be sure that this address isn't a priority 1. So I'm just go ahead and click on the map. And you can see right here that the priority is listed as priority 1. So I have gone ahead and confirmed that my location is in a priority 1 area. I'm going to go back to the safe drinking water form. And I'm going to go ahead and click on the English version of the form. There is also the Spanish version available over here. And if you scroll further down on the page, there is also a fillable PDF form, which can be printed and then or emailed directly to us from the digital document attached to an email. Or there is the form that can be printed and you can handwrite all of your answers as well. So those are 2 other options if you would prefer those. But right now I'm just going to go through the digital form. Again, as you're going through this form, it has a little bit of information about the nitrates and unsafe nitrate levels, the long-term and short-term solution background that we had discussed previously, some helpful links as you're going through eligibility requirements. And again, if you need free drinking water now that is available 24/7, we have those fill station locations available for you right now. I'll just go ahead and fill out the form. The first name and the information we need is your first and your last name. And then it asks your preferred language. We do have translation services for Spanish. And if another language is needed, we can most definitely get that as well. So please answer what your preferred language is, and we will do our best on our end. The phone number is asked for, and one of the reasons for this is the bottled water delivery services sometimes need to call the resident. Sometimes the addresses are in pretty rural locations, so we like to provide them with the address in case there are any questions during a delivery route. Additionally, we like to make sure that we can contact you via phone and or email so that we can make sure that we are relaying information to you regarding your form here. And I'm going to go ahead and enter my email address. And I'm going to go ahead and put my preference as email. I will enter the Kings River Conservation District office address once again. Oops.
Hey, Deborah.
Yes.
So sorry to interrupt. We had someone request potentially zooming in on the webpage.
Sure.
Awesome.
Is
Thanks.
that good? 150, is that okay?
Let's see. Okay, she said thanks.
All right. And then after I enter my address, and it's important, people have been putting mailing address sometimes, but it's important in the address to make sure that you're putting the residence address of where you would like the well sample to take place. That way we can verify that you are in the Kings Water Alliance boundary. The address type, this is a residential well testing program, so I'm going to go ahead and select residence. And the last question on this initial form is your parcel with the well subject to a waste discharge requirement general order, such as irrigated lands regulatory program, which is irrigated ag, a dairy, the existing milking cows, the dairy program, or confined bovine feeding operations. These have a regulatory requirement to sample your drinking water wells and domestic wells. I am in a residence, so I am going to go ahead and answer no, that does not apply to me. And then I'm going to move on to the next screen. The next question that comes up is, do you own or rent? And I'm going to go ahead and select rent. so that I can show you what question would come up if you do that, and then I'll come back to own as well. So our well sampling agreement, which gives us access to take to your well and allows us to take the sample from that well, requires that we have a landowner signature. So this question is simply asking, are you willing to obtain that signature from the landowner with our agreement? You can answer yes or no. And if you answer no, we will, of course, will reach out to you and we can discuss why you put no and any further steps that we can take. So that is the answer that, or the question that pops up next if you select rent. I'm going to go to own. So you would see if you select own or rent, you would eventually come up to the next question, which is how many people currently live in your household? I'm just going to go ahead and select 4 people. And this helps us with the actual bottled water delivery. We'd like to know how many people are in your household so that we can make sure that you're getting enough water for a month. And our water deliveries are vendor Sparklets, and there are deliveries of the bottled water twice a month. The next question that comes up is, how is water supplied to this residence? And what that means is when you turn on your faucet in your kitchen or in your bathroom, is it coming from a public water system, such as the city of Kingsburg or the city of Clovis, or is it coming from a private well? If you select that it is coming from a public water system, the next part of the question is asking the name of the public water system. We will confirm that it is a compliant system and we will send you an email back. Or we will confirm information about it. If you do not have a private well, you are not eligible for this residential drinking water well testing program. So, but again, we will reach out and we will provide you with additional information. I'm going to go ahead and select a private well, and it is going to take me to some additional questions. First of which is, does your water well supply water to more than one residence? I am going to select yes for this question to show you what would come up next. We have had multiple instances with applications that have provided more than one residence on the same drinking water well. So we just want to collect this information as we're moving forward so that we can determine for the bottled water vendor the addresses and provide that to them after we get the results of the well test. How many residents does your water well supply? I'm going to select 3. And then here is where I would select and enter those other residents' addresses. Just the address, the city, the state, and the zip code. And again, you might have a water well that only supplies 1 residence. So then I would just select no and move on to the next question. The next question for your private domestic drinking water well is, has your drinking water well been sampled for nitrates in the last 5 years? There are some regulatory requirements for irrigated ag, dairies, and confined bovine that we've discussed that there may be results that have already been taken for their wells. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit yes. And that is going to bring up the next question, which is, do you know what the results are? And I'm going to go ahead and select over 10. And then a recent addition to our form is we are able to upload the results of that well test. So the file formats that we accept are PDF, PNG, JPEG, or GIF. So I'm going to just go ahead and drag the file I have that is my well results, and you're going to get confirmation right here that that file has been uploaded and we will be able to process that. I'm just going to go next. At this point, you are to the second of the last question of the survey, which is GeoTracker. So GeoTracker is the State Water Resources Control Board's data management system, and this provides online access to environmental data, including water quality data such as nitrates. This tool provides users access to data and site locations, and it's simply asking you, are you willing to allow your sampling results to be included on GeoTracker? The State Water Resources Control Board and the Regional Board require us to upload any test results that we do in this program to GeoTracker. If you say no or don't know, we will be giving you a phone call or an email and hopefully furthering the conversation about GeoTracker. It is an anonymous, does not list your name. The way we are taking our samples, you are assigned an anonymous ID. So it would just be a dot on a map with a nitrate level if it is included on GeoTracker. But again, that could be a further conversation if you are not sure if you want it on GeoTracker. And after I hit yes, I am to the very last question in our well survey. And it is having to do with our outreach efforts. We are outreaching in various ways, and we want to make sure that our outreach is effective. So this is simply asking, how did you hear about us? Social media, we have an Instagram account. We also have a Facebook account, and my understanding is we might be live on Facebook right now, which is great because, you know, I always wanted to go viral. So so hopefully our outreach team can get me to go viral. So, but we also have other things that we're doing. We're doing emails, we're doing direct mail. We're also sending flyers through food banks, and we're in communication with community organizations. So if you wouldn't mind letting us know how you've heard about us, even if it's multiple ways, we would appreciate that. So I actually received an email from the Kings Water Alliance. So that is what I am going to select. Now, if at any point before you submit this, you don't want to go back and review your questions, you are able to with this previous button. At this point, before I submit my form, are there any questions or anything that you'd like me to go back to?
So Deborah, I do see a raised hand, so I'm just going to go ahead and unmute the participant
Perfect.
so they can ask.
Hi, this is Victoria with California Rural Legal Assistance. I was wondering, does this apply to residents from Fresno County? Is this available for Fresno residents who are part of Fresno County? And if so, what if there is 2 properties in one house that only has one address?
Yes. So at this point, if your well comes back above the standard, well, let me go back to answer the first about Fresno County. Yes, this is for Fresno County. Also, priority 1 areas we have, I believe, in Kings and Tulare as well at this point. So anything within the Kings Water Alliance boundary, which again is Fresno, Tulare, and Kings counties, they are located in the priority 1 area, which right now is the Kings and Cahuilla groundwater subbasins. They are eligible and they can come in, they can use this to apply for the samples or the drinking water, bottled water. So yes, it's Fresno County is included there. The second part of the question was, I apologize. The second part of the question was about the 2 houses, but only 1 address. Yes, we will still deliver to both. If there's only 1 address, we will, we have the option of providing delivery instructions to our vendor. And we would simply say that there are 2 residences with the same address, and then we would let them know where the residents would like delivery of those. So that is not a problem. One of the other things I forgot to mention, and thank you so much for bringing this up, is 1 well, multiple residents, you only are required to submit 1 application. Our preference is if there is more than 1 well that needs to be sampled, that separate applications are indeed submitted to us.
I also have another question. I'm sorry. I noticed that the application doesn't have anything that asks about income. Is that something that eventually would be asked of residents, income verification? There is no income that is, okay.
There is no income requirement for this program. No, we do not ask that question.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions before I continue forward? All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and submit this, and you will see on the screen that it says thank you for submitting. And that comes directly to us. We are notified that there is a new applicant, and then we process the application. I'm going to go ahead and move back to the PowerPoint. So things that we would like is for people and residents and community leaders and members of the community to be engaged with our organization. You know, we're getting out there in the community, and we'd like for you to stay engaged through our website, through our email notices, through our social media, and also word of mouth. We would love if you would tell your friends, your family, your neighbors about us. And so we would like you to stay engaged as we're moving forward through this process. At this point, we have reached the question and answer session. If there are any additional questions that you would like to ask, I am available. Could be about the well test, could be about the Kings Water Alliance. Feel free at this point. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me during this lunch hour. If there are any additional questions, our phone number is located here. Our email address, you can find us on Facebook or Instagram. I'll leave that to the outreach folks, as I am not tech savvy whatsoever with that. But thank you for joining us, for finding out who the Kings Water Alliance is, what we're doing in your community, how to get your well tested, or to get bottled water if you're eligible. And we'd love to hear from you. We'd love for you to stay engaged. So thank you so much for your participation today. Again, word of mouth has a lot behind it. And I know I hear a lot from my friends and family, word of mouth. So please tell your friends, your family, your neighbors. And thank you so much, and have a great afternoon.